Hello and welcome to Forgotmycape, the comic book show with nothing to lose. We're bringing you previews, hot picks, and taboo right to your super suit. I'm your host, Robert, Fish for Comics Fish, and with me is Dan, Cape Killer Marshall, and Tom, Floxhamer. Well then guys, before we move forward, I'd just like to introduce ourselves and say basically what got us into comics. So Dan.
Hello.
Hello. What brought you into comics, my lad?
I'll tell you what brought me into comics, Rob.
You do it.
Hold on to something. A friend of mine, when I was in school, his older brother used to collect X-Men comics. And I'll never forget the first time I saw them all piled high. No long box, no fucking nothing. They were just all piled in a neat order, each title at its own pile. And I remember seeing the covers of those and being like, that's something, like, what is this? I've got to get into it. So he was like, right, you want to start here? Jim Lee, Claremont, X-Men #1. Take those and go away. And you know what it's like with comics. You read comics and everything you read opens up another door and asks more questions. And every time I go back to him, he's like, what are they talking about with Archangel? Who's that? And he would explain to me. And like the history was so deep and it went back so long. I was like, right.
Like Neighbours.
Basically, yeah. I was like, what? So Wolverine is like Jim Robinson. Let's do that. And that totally sucked me in, and I got all the X-Men books. That's what I used to be into. Then I actually started collecting myself. So in the 90s, when Scott Lobdell and Chris Bachalo started doing Generation X, I knew it was coming.
Years ago.
Years enough. I'm talking like early 90s. I knew that was coming. I was like, this is my jumping on point.
Tom necessarily wasn't born.
Yeah, how early are we thinking there?
Like 93?
I was 2.
God bless you, Tom. God fucking bless you. I knew it was coming, so I was like, right, I want to start collecting now. And X-Men was all I knew. Never read anything else. So Uncanny X-Men 316, I'll never forget it. Phalanx Covenant, they did like special covers. Shiny covers. But they were doing, I think they had an idea of doing kind of a premium and a normal edition of books. So this was kind of their prototype. They were putting the feelers out.
Was it for just the first and the last?
No, it was for every Phalanx Covenant issue.
Every cover.
Even the tie-ins, so even the Cable issues and all that. You could either get the one that was like a double cover.
So I remember the first one, it was Alpha Omega, wasn't it?
No,
it wasn't. That was, I'm getting confused now.
Age of Apocalypse,
Age of Apocalypse, yeah. Sorry, yeah, let's move on.
Rob, you own a comic shop, get your shit together.
I know. I've already done a take on this, so it's...
Yeah.
I was there
Straight
first
up,
time.
Yeah. So you had the covers, and then there was a strip on the front cover, or the right page of that double cover. You either had a hologram of it that represented like the Phalanx, it was like circuitry, or it was just a red strip. And like, no way am I going out like a sucker. I'm not going to buy the red one. I'm going to go in and go hard. So I got the hologram covers and like loved it. Started collecting Gen X, started digging in the crates for old Peter David, Larry Stroman, X Factor. Like I got proper deep into it, and I fell out of love with it a little bit for like quite a while. But all I was reading at that point was X-Men, and then it was the road to Civil War. And my showbiz wife Bones, who I was doing Psychic Cast with, said, right, you've got to read New Avengers, because to really appreciate Civil War and what it's going to be about, you've got to read the lead up to it.
And this is a breakout volume, yeah?
Yeah, the Bendis run. And that totally sucked me back in. It was kind of like reading comic books again, but very much from the standpoint that I was in. So it was like the funny pages, but written by an adult for the adults. Like, they're not like, forget about it. They're not for kids anymore. But totally loved it. Started collecting different issues. Everything else got into Civil War, blew my mind. But I think that was probably the first time that I got a little bit of event fatigue.
Favourite point in Civil War?
Favourite point in Civil War is when you got the Jester turns up, where Captain America's got like his cabal, and the villains join him, and they're like, right, we're totally against registration. And the Punisher smokes both of them. They barely get like a whole speech bubble out. The Punisher blows them out.
It's
in the head.
my favourite point.
Right? Cap goes berserk. He pushes the Punisher up against like the control console, and he's hitting him in the face with a vibranium shield. and he's so angry. He's like, right, fight back. You've got to fight me back. And Punisher's like, not against you. Yeah. And that was kind of, and I'd read obviously the run of New Avengers. I knew like Cap's the dad everyone always wanted. And at that point, when like everyone stood back and everyone totally gets that the Punisher's done wrong, but what his point of view is, and Cap kind of gives up, and it's like, you're kind of the maker of your own demise there, because you're the person that everyone looks up to. You're angry, you've reached a point of no return, but so much so that everyone understands where you're coming from. And I think that, like,
great
as far as
scene,
Civil War goes, you're like,
not that we're going to see it
you know.
in the new movie, but
I don't think that's going to be in the new movie, yeah.
But I would love to see that sort of.
But like, I love comic books so much, man. I've been doing a podcast for 8 years about it. Like, got long boxes galore. Started up my own t-shirt company with comic book references, places, and companies to it. Booyah! Like, I'm steeped heavily in this shit now.
We live that life, don't we?
Geek life.
Tom, what about you, mate?
I'm the baby of the group. I'm the resident DC fanboy and Power Girl loving 24-year-old. So I'm sort of new into the whole sort of actual medium of comic books. It's only in the last 2.5 years, or since the release of Man of Steel, I've jumped on the comic book bandwagon. Just something about that movie made me sort of take an interest in the actual original, you know, sort of.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
What was it about that movie that made you kind of start to look towards comic books?
I think it was a combination of that. Obviously, we all know that Batman is dark and brooding, and obviously Christopher Nolan created his dark and brooding Christian Bale Batmans. Mm-hmm. I've always seen Superman as a bit of a sort of American hero, happy, you know, sort of ice white smile, sort of the original Boy Scout, as he's always called.
True Blue.
And yeah, True Blue, exactly. And I've always seen him as a bit of a naff character, and it was just nice to see sort of Superman brought down to a human level, and obviously dealing with the sort of
beat the shit out of stuff,
and yeah, hit the crap in and stuff as well. You know, obviously Superman Returns, most people saw, and he didn't throw one punch, and in this one he's throwing haymakers left, right, and centre.
Yeah, taking names.
You know, which seems a little bit of compensation because of that, but yeah. So I got into the first comic I read was the New 52 run with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Great art, very, very sort of rough around the edges, but it sort of worked with the storyline that they were going.
His art is
absolutely wicked. Kevin Smith's podcast sort of introduced me to the New 52. It was a nice starting point for me as well, because of the origin of the New 52 and, you know, sort of the whole process that they went with that. But sort of since getting into comics, I've, as we've already alluded to, sort of begun a little obsession with a certain character called Power Girl, who is the Earth 2 equivalent of Supergirl. Very similar origin, but two very distinctive differences.
So is she related to Kal-El in her
yeah,
origin?
she's still a cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so she's just Supergirl, but of that other world.
Yeah.
If you want to pre-52, then she's related to the original Superman.
Depends. It depends. Obviously,
pre-52, she's related to the original Superman.
Related how? Cousin.
Yes.
In the same way that Supergirl
the Golden
is.
Age Superman, yes.
Yeah, there's lots of different sort of the grey-haired Superman.
Yes,
I call him.
Yeah.
So what's the current official story?
Origin.
Of her is Earth 2.
Earth 2, yeah, exactly. So she resides in Earth 2.
Right.
So,
but she's in the New 52 now, or in the current DCU.
Yeah, she's in the New 52, obviously, with she plays a part in her own mini-series with Harley Quinn. She pops up in the Harley Quinn series, but also will pop up, as you know, in your hot pick
which we will mention.
Yeah, which you will sort of touch on. But yeah, my favourite artist is Amanda Conner. I just like the way that she draws her characters. They're very cartoony, but still sort of... It's fun. Despite me loving the DC sort of traditional sort of dark and brooding, it's nice to have that sort of...
They're really her art's really expressive.
Yeah,
I think. Like you see what they're thinking about.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. The catch of the day, Mr. Robert Smith, Fish.
Smith?
Robert Smith, that's the guy from The Cure, isn't it? Robert Fish, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, my first startings of reading a comic was either a choice between Beano and Superman. You know, my mum used to say to me, You've been good this week. What do you want to choose? And I always usually choose Beano because you get a free sweet, a free lolly. You get, everything.
You can't ask for more, can you?
Well, you can. It was like 15p at the time, I think it was.
What, for a comic and a lolly?
Yeah, so you get 15p.
This is before your time, mate.
I was going to say, you can't even get a refresher for 15p.
I know, forget about it.
You get 15p. I remember going up to about 35p as an older adult, or younger adult, I'll say. But yeah, you used to choose Beano. But it wasn't until I was 15, went to a convention, and I picked up a comic, Volume 2 of Flash, issue 100, foil cover, and it was just so shiny.
What was on the cover?
Basically 100.
So Flash wasn't even on there?
Yes, briefly. But it was literally the foil and the shininess that went, I need that.
Was it like embossed, or was there any colour to it?
You had a foil writing as such, so the rest of it was black.
Right.
And you had sort of flash and sort of things without, but it was mainly...
What, embossed or in a different colour?
No, not embossed, just in a different colour.
Okay.
With on the cover. And the rest was just foil. Shiny foil, 100. And it was like...
What more do you want?
Yeah, I need that. There's a 100 issue. Let's get it. So I read that, and it was a really good read. But then it wasn't until about a year later I read Crisis on Infinite Earths, read the whole plight of what Flash did and now what Barry Allen did to save everyone else, and it was like, right, that's it. I need to fucking read more of this because this is just...
I need to know what it's about.
Yeah, it's not real life, but it's just escapism.
It is real life. Flash is real life.
Well, yeah,
don't be fooled.
Flash is. None of the rest is.
No. Batman's not real life.
No, that'd be silly. But the enjoyment out of it, and just sitting there in your house and just thinking, I don't have to think about anything else. I can just sit here, read this, and just be happy. And that's what it was for me. But
what about Crisis then? When you read that, because that's not about being happy, is it? With the Flash,
I was.
Are you okay to talk about it?
I'm all right. Yeah. I was heartbroken, but at the end of the day, he died a true hero.
Is that what? So how much of the Flash had you read after issue 100 before you read Infinite?
A couple of issues, and then I read.
So is that what really sold you the Flash then? That
yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Because he's your fave, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
straight up.
I mean, I watched sort of the animated series in between, but yeah, reading the Crisis on Infinite Earths, that got me. It was love at first sight. But anyway, guys, right, on to our next section, which I believe is called Heatwave.
Which is what?
Heatwave is us recommending comics.
So our hot picks.
Yeah, we call it hot picks. So Dan, what would your hot pick be?
I'll tell you, Rob. I have actually, especially like with Marvel not coming to an end, but like hitting the big reset button with Secret Wars, not really reading a lot. The only thing really I dip my toe in the water of DC is like Batman. And I'm looking to kind of ditch that and start collecting the graphs instead. So, Earth 2 Society, which is by Daniel H. Wilson and Jorge Jimenez. So I follow...
George?
I think it's Jorge.
Okay, no.
I'm going to go with Jorge.
I'm just thinking George.
I know you are, but I'm going like Espanol.
Espanol.
See.
George.
I follow him on Instagram because his stuff is amazing. And I saw the final inked version of the first page, right, with Batman, long trench coat, he's got like a shield, he's been hit up, hanging off the side of the building. I was like, that is dynamic as piss. I've got to get into whatever that's about. And this kind of made me feel like I did when I was a kid, and you pick up probably how you were, Rob, with number 100, or you with Batman number 1,
yeah.
New 52. It's like, right, I don't really know what's going on, but what I can tell you is what's going on I really like. I feel a pull towards whatever world this is in.
Which is great. How often do you feel...
Not very often now, because everything is based on what's come before, the nods and the winks to you having collected 100 issues before it. And this is like, It's not the Batman I know, it's not the Superman I know. I think the only other person in there is the Green Lantern that I don't know, that's kind of like a godlike figure that comes and goes. But like the art in this, first and foremost, is absolutely stunning. But what I really love the most about it is that there's actually a cohesive story in here for someone that hasn't read anything else before. And this is really the arse end of Convergence. This is the reset. This is the start again. And but there's nods to all that stuff. I was like, right, if I don't need to know about that and already enjoy this book, and I am really enjoying it, I'm definitely going to get the next one, it's a winner for me.
I think that book especially is the big arse end of Convergence. It's the big restart of Convergence. And I know, Tom, obviously you're halfway through Convergence at the moment.
Yep.
And he's read certain things with it.
Spoil away.
We're not going to spoil away for you.
We're not going to do that. That's not what we're about.
But Earth Society 2, like I said, it's just great. I wouldn't even say jumping on point. It doesn't matter. You just pick it up, and it's just such a good read. It is very quick, but it's such a pleasant read that you just think, I'm picking up issue 2.
Brilliant. It's a great setup, a great introduction. There's stuff in there that you kind of know, because it's like new Gotham City. Right, I recognise Batman, but it's not the Batman I know. Right, there's Superman, but it's not the Superman I know. They haven't even got into Flash or Power Girl yet, but they're all on the cover, and it's just like, it's so tantalising. It can't be denied. Like, I can't wait to read the next one. When is it out?
2 weeks.
Is that a weekly book then, or is it
no,
bi-weekly? Monthly.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
2 weeks ago.
That was it. Oh.
Yeah, when you look at the art, you're like, there's no way this could be a bi-weekly book. It's amazing. It's
you
really
never know
good.
with people like that, though.
I don't know. Like, look at the detail on that. It's so dynamic. It's so well designed.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have a look at it in a bit, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful read, and just number one read on a new 52 after post-Convergence.
Is it still New 52?
I
Are you
was
still
going to
doing
ask.
that?
What are they actually calling it? They're just calling it DC Comics now instead of
DCU.
because they've lost the tagline in New 52, haven't they?
Yeah, they're dropping off all titles, aren't they?
Thing, yeah.
I suppose. I mean, what does it say on the cover then?
It says Earth 2 Society.
The new 52?
DC Comics, number 1. No.
Well, there we go then. Yeah. So,
but this isn't like, not Elseworlds, but it's not the main.
It's not. I mean,
universe
Convergence. How they've ended Convergence is that everything is canon. So the pre, post, whatever you want to call it, DC universe has happened.
Yeah.
So Crisis on Infinite Earths is what we were talking about earlier. That's happened. Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis has happened. 52.
Can I, before we leave this subject, who's Alan Scott?
Alan Scott is the original Green Lantern. So the
guy that
Green
can't
Lantern.
go against wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
The blonde-haired one. And the white-haired one.
Because he turns up as like a godlike figure and they all know him.
So his power in the sort of new 52 then is an earth power. So it's like a god power. So he can control
earthly stuff.
Yeah. So Tom, on to you.
So going off what you have already spoken about, Dan, my sort of hot pick or sort of thing is the Convergence itself. For me, it was a nice to sort of. I haven't finished it yet, but it's nice to sort of experience a big event because of my inexperience within the comic collecting sort of
infancy, I would say.
Infancy, yes, infancy. Due to my infancy when it comes to collecting. I'm very new to the whole sort of big event, so this is my first experience of it. But what I do like about Convergence and what I don't like about it is you have to have a sort of a knowledge about the sort of pre-New 52 sort of
definitely
universes because
you do have to.
I enjoyed it more because I knew.
It was probably nice for you because there was lots of nice little nods and everything. Sort of the concept of Convergence is that Brainiac and his disciples have gathered all the various different timelines and universes of various cities in the DC universe and are pretty much putting them in a death match against each other. That's my grasp of it
pretty
anyway.
Much. What's the death match for? So whoever wins, they get rid of that bottled city, is it, or what?
Whoever wins deserves to live, basically.
Right, and if they don't,
you're
then
just playing God, pretty much. It's God complex.
And that universe or city in the bottle gets shit canned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I presume so. It's up to those sort of superheroes in those respected cities to destroy the other city they're being put up against, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I believe that in the first couple of issues, or at least the side issues, you have the Red Sun Superman universe up against the 80s Earth 2, I believe is one of them. So you've got the greying Superman with the Power Girl of Earth 2 sort of going up against all those. But
they literally split them up that specifically, like the 80s Superman is his own universe.
Yeah, I guess I call it 80s
or 80s
Superman.
like Metropolis got its own universe.
Yeah, to an extent, I guess. Am I wrong in saying that?
That'd do my head in.
Mr.
I don't think
Fish.
I can read that.
No, I'll go with that, because they do split them down the line. And
Okay,
go, right.
so I don't want to spoil this for you.
You carry on.
But
Spoiler alert, everyone.
ultimately, is it, without giving any specifics away so it's not completely spoiled, is the ultimate end game for that to put a one unilateral universe into DC, or is it to split them all up into multiversity again?
It's to split them up and make everything canon, really. So everything that's happened within the multi-university over the last 75, 80 years is still canon now.
So everything you've ever read still exists,
Yes.
So I was going to ask...
regardless of who's lost and got shit
It
canned.
doesn't matter whether it affects the New 52 Batman or New 52 Flash or New 52 Green Lantern.
It's happened at
It's
some
happened within a certain universe, yes.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask for you with your sort of jumping back quickly to the Earth 2 society. You know, you were talking about your sort of Matrix-like Batman. Do you know any of his origin? Obviously, I presume that has something to do with the end of Convergence.
It only alludes to the fact
Is
that
it Bruce Wayne?
No, it's Dick Grayson.
So it's... Okay, right.
Yeah.
And it alludes to the fact that he couldn't walk.
Spoiler alert.
Now something's given him the ability to walk,
Okay.
but it's going.
Which
And-
is Telos.
Right, okay,
I
yeah.
want to announce... I think it's Telos. I think you
Yeah, I
pronounce
think
it.
so, yeah.
But he gave him the power to walk again.
So obviously in
But-
Convergence then, that's not Earth 2 Dick Grayson, it's a different Dick Grayson. It's one of like the 80s Dick Graysons, isn't it? Is it the same one that like sort
He's
of...
got
No,
a
it's
family.
Earth 2 Grayson.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the one that lost Barbara Gordon in World's End?
Yes.
And his son is like missing.
Yes.
Got you.
But he
See,
had
this
a
is why
wife,
stupid
he was
people...
married with kids, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't show any traits at the start of that of being like super duper great Dick Grayson. He was like a bit of a bitch, to be honest.
No, he wasn't.
He's a
reporter.
little
He's a
bit
reporter,
shit
isn't
in
he?
this.
Yeah.
What's great about this is actually he is a little bit shit.
Yeah.
He's got like
He questions himself as well. Like.
Yeah, you get the impression he's got something about him and he's kind of learnt a little bit, but he is a little bit whack.
Like he has these certain abilities because of Cyborg now.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think that's what it is, isn't it? In the new...
It's not explained, but what he does say is that obviously if it's Telos that's given him the power, the ability to walk again, he's gone somewhere, and the further away he gets, the less feeling he's got on his legs, so that's obviously something that's going to build somewhere.
Yeah, so just to sort of conclude with Convergence, I like it because there's lots of like winks to the wider sort of past of DC Comics. It's a little bit of a shameless plug, maybe, to sort of go back and read all the older stuff, but then that's a positive and a negative because it does allude to the bee's knees of the DC Comics.
But I quite like that though, because it's like, right, I'm not well steeped in DC, and if I was going to read something that should be a pull into it, I wouldn't mind a DCU 101, if you will, like what you should read. Like, forget about reading like 50 years worth or 75 years worth of stuff. Like, this is the stuff that you should have a go. This is stuff that if you want to know what you're talking about, that you should hit up. But I think that's quite a good idea. Don't get me wrong, it's like they are selling trade paperbacks.
Oh, too
but
right.
Why not? It's what we do with each other.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
do you like this character? Do you know what? Let me introduce you to this character in the way that I really enjoyed him. Here's the Long Halloween. Here's Age of Apocalypse. Here's whatever.
Okie doke. So that's the end of Convergence and my hot pick.
So, my hot pick for today is Flash 41. Thank you, Tom.
Why 41?
Well, it's been 2 months since Convergence, so a lot of the 41 titles for DC are jump-on points. But I think for me, have you both watched Flash TV series?
Yeah, I fucking
Great
did.
stuff.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
It's 23 episodes of
It's
pure gold.
Pure gold.
Yeah. So I think with the Flash comic, it's a good jumping on point for people who've never read the comic, and also a really nice point for people who've watched the series or haven't watched the series, really. I mean, they jump on the point that the Flash has now just discovered that Zoom's back in the picture.
Okay.
Professor Thorne. He goes to visit his dad, and he says to his dad, I have proof. You weren't the killer of our mum.
What proofs he got?
A name. That's all it is at the moment. A name.
That ain't
So he's got
proof.
jack shit then, pretty
Yeah,
much.
tell it to the judge, Barry.
But his dad reacts going, you just need to stop this. You need to stop this. I killed your mum. That's it. Sort of thing. He's like, no, you didn't. I need to prove so. So he goes to his adopted father, Daryl, and he says the same thing, but Daryl says, right, I'm not going to tell you not to do this, but if you're going to do this, you tell me what you're going to do, step by step, which is quite similar to the TV series.
Does he know that he's the Flash?
No.
Okay.
So, in this issue, so Barry says, yeah, no problem, I'll tell you what I'm going to do as I do it.
I'm going to bring the fucking noise.
No problem at all. Yeah, exactly. Bring some fucking noise and a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wreck shop.
Meanwhile, his dad, after speaking to Barry, goes off to his cell, speaks to Gerda and a couple of other villains, and says, I need your help.
Who are the other villains?
I cannot remember.
That's how
be honest,
memorable
mate.
this book was.
I apologise, I cannot remember.
Are they like Rogue Gallery villains or just like...
No. Just Central City villains, but they're not Rogue Gallery. But they said, yeah, no problem, I'll help out. We know how much of a bond with the father and son there is.
So they're willing to like be good and help him out?
Because he's been in a long time.
So they all look up to him, kind of.
Yeah.
He's like a father figure for them.
So he has been threatened. He's been told by Barry, and he's also been told by another inmate that it's just like, the Yellow Flash is coming. You've been warned.
How does the dad know who the Yellow Flash is?
We don't
or
know.
That he's someone to be feared. Okay.
We don't know at the moment. So he basically says a gridlock. He says a girder, and then a lot of the other guys said, right, I need your help. So they basically plan an escape, get on a boat, a speedboat, and it's like, right, let's fucking go for it. It's not going to be easy.
Do they know where they're going?
They don't know.
Do they know what they've got to do?
Nope.
So why are they on a speedboat?
Huh? Because they escaped out of a prison on the speedboat.
So what are they going to do once they get off the speedboat?
No idea.
Do they know?
But no, he does.
What the fuck?
He ends.
This
going,
is like the most bullshit thing ever.
He ends basically saying, "Thank you. You know, we're going to do this, but you don't know how hard it's going to be."
Because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I guess so, because it's like a fucking speed demon against just a normal guy.
But hang on, what I don't get is how does Barry's dad know who Eobard Thorne is?
Yeah, by the looks of it, yes.
Does he know? Is he anticipating where an attack is going to come from, or how to?
I don't know about an
foresee
attack,
that?
no.
So
But
what's his plan then? He's just basically assembled a bunch of villains,
yeah, emotion,
and now
attack.
they're all stood on the fucking shore scratching their heads.
Yeah, on a boat, and they're like, "We're going,
Where?
and we're going to fuck up this guy."
Although we don't know, does he know?
Who?
Does Barry's dad know what they're going to do next?
I don't know that. No.
So what you're trying to say is that he can't organise a piss up in a brewery?
Yeah, is it just me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
All
what
he
the
knows.
fuck?
He obviously knows more than we do.
Yeah, but does he know what he's going to do is what I want.
No,
I don't mind
I
not
don't.
knowing what he's going to do, but does he know?
No.
Does he show signs of knowing?
Yeah, is he like,
looks-
does he allude to anything at all? Because
He looks-
otherwise, Gerda is a fucking idiot.
He looks very confident.
Gerda's like, do you know what? I just fucked up my early release. Let's go knock some heads together.
No.
I've got no plan, Gerda. I'd be like,
no.
fair dues, Mr. Allen, you just fucked my shit up.
Dr. Allen looks very confident what he's doing, but
How are his eyebrows drawn?
So much so you didn't question it.
no, of course I'm not going to question it. Barry's
good then.
dad,
That's alright then.
but
did you know?
Gerda didn't question it. That's what I'm.
But what you're saying is, great jumping on point.
Yes.
As far as you're concerned, it's a good story.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's
Because
a great jumping
it
on
sounds
point.
to me like they jump in the Sharklet Fighting Centre.
Yeah, of course they are. But that's what's good, because you pick up the next issue and you think, I want to know what's happening.
So it's not that it seems like Keystone Cops, it's just that you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
I'm
know,
alright with
and
that.
and I think at the
You
same
didn't
time...
explain it very well.
I did the first time.
You blame him then.
I didn't have any time for that. But yeah, I mean, it's a great jumping on point. Yes, we don't know what's happening, but that's a good cliffhanger, you know. And I think for people who've watched the TV series who haven't read a comic, then yes, jump on it.
I'm going to ask you
41.
something now. As someone that's trying to save money but loves a good comic book, should I start collecting this?
Yes, because it's cheap.
And well, I know what's going on, because Barry's
will.
dad doesn't.
Yes, you will.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, it's a hot pick right there.
Conclusion.
Well, then, guys, you know what time it is, Dan?
I don't.
Well, it's time for Is It a Bird?
Is it a plane?
No, it's the motherfucking preview.
Yeah!
Touchdown.
Right then, guys, what have we got for the first?
So what do we do? What is this section?
Yeah, what is
Previews
this
is just about... We're looking into the future.
Okay.
That's how hip we are.
Previews.
We
Literally.
4 months into the future and we talk about it.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do it.
What do you want to
first,
start with, Rob?
I want to start with a certain Doctor Strange title.
Oh my fucking god.
Is this Marvel?
I'm wet already. Yeah.
I might switch off.
You won't. Because me and Rob are going to explain why you're not going to be switching off. And this
Okay.
is going to probably be your first foray into the Marvel U.
Okay, I'll take.
Yeah,
your hand.
you will.
I'll take your hand and we'll fly together.
Yeah, hold on
Okay.
to something because
Yes,
he's
we
about
will.
to get... I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, but... I am for real.
That's a 90s
So-
joke.
Marvel just announced,
Before your time.
after Secret Wars, there's going to be a Doctor Strange title. Written by
Jason Aaron.
and drawn by Dan's special friend.
Chris Bachalo.
Oh, yeah. So, off the bat,
Right, off the bat, do you want me to pick the
it
bat?
doesn't even matter.
I tell you what, I'm going to take the bat off you and knock it out the fucking park, because I'm going
You
to tell
do
you
it.
right now, Jason Aaron not only wrote my favourite comic book of all time, Scalped, but everything this guy writes is golden. I've never... Like, Bendis has had... Like, Bendis is awesome. Like, in the amount of stuff, he's so adaptable and brilliant at what he does, it's always entertaining. But Jason Aaron, the stuff he touches has always got a load of different levels, and it is really, no matter how long he's on a run for, it's episodic. Like, it's legendary. It's brilliant. Anything that he does is tantalising. The fact that he's picked up a book of what is essentially like, they kind of make Doctor Strange a bad guy for this Secret Wars thing that they're running, and he's like, right, I want to do something new with this guy. Chris Bachalo drawing it. I don't know, Rob, if you remember. I know, Tom, you probably not even touched on this.
Yeah, definitely not.
In the run of New Avengers, when the Hood was involved,
Yeah.
and Dr. Voodoo and stuff,
When he became...
Doctor Strange was starting to lose his grip as Sorcerer Supreme, and there's an issue with Doctor Strange in a greasy spoon calf, in a diner, basically. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And he's talking about the demons. So up until this point, like, Bendis is the premier Marvel writer. He can have whatever artist he wants. It started off with Finch, McNiven was on it, Lino Yu, like anyone that's anyone of comic book artists, right, was on this book, because he got to pick and choose. The fact that for this story he picked Bachalo, I think says a lot. And the fact that they've got Bachalo to do this story, I think they're like, if anyone is going to draw Doctor Strange to the weird and the wonderful, no one's going to do it better than Bachalo. And I say that, yeah, granted, a bit of favouritism involved there, but he does do that stuff amazing.
I was just going to say, so obviously, have you seen any sort of previews and how Doctor Strange is going to look and things like that yet?
We've
Or-
seen a cover.
Concept art, we've seen certain things with him and Axe, and
So
I've only
stuff.
seen the front cover. Is there more art, is there?
so basically they're saying now that he is going to be Sorcerer Supreme, so it's not going to be Brother Voodoo, but they down the line they are going to meet other Sorcerer Supreme, but he's not necessarily just going to use his, like, okay, I can wave my wand and all that sort of stuff. He's actually going to use brute force and all that sort of stuff through the line. And they I was saying to you that in an interview, Jason Aaron, or the editor anyway, was saying Jason Aaron came forward and
With his
said,
pitch.
with his pitch, it was like, there you go, there's 16 issues there, done. So he's not, it's not as if he's there for the short haul. He's there like, right, I want to do this.
Look at
and
his
I wanna
run with
do this
Thor.
right. Yeah, you think he's done his run of Thor? We're on the new Thor now. Plus he's writing Thor's for Secret Wars. Plus, he's writing Weird World. You know, he's prolific. Yeah,
yeah.
You know? And he
his
sticks
output
to it.
is astonishing.
But I would definitely not necessarily pick up a Doctor Strange comic. Like a lot of people, I don't think that it's been warrant enough to pick up a Doctor Strange comic.
I think up till this point, you're right, because it's like, right, what Doctor Strange seems to be is he's a mentor. He's someone that you go to get this. He's a tool. By and large, he's pretty much a narrative device.
So obviously, with what you just said in mind, with regards to you wouldn't necessarily pick up a Doctor Strange comic, alluding back to my point, would you say that obviously Benedict Cumberbatch has been cast, or has he not been cast at this point?
He's casted.
Yeah,
So would you say that the art is possibly a little bit reminiscent of what he may or may not look like to sort of ease people into this character? Because there's a big sort of financial risk, this whole character, I think, for Marvel potentially, for the wider audience.
Movie-wise, but what's great about this...
that's what I was saying is, obviously you've alluded to in the past that the Marvel are a little bit sort of, they're changing the continuity and they're changing the way the characters look in the comics to match that of the film. Do you think they're going to be doing something similar now with this?
No, because what we've seen so far, it's very much the Marvel U version of Doctor Strange. It's not like, let's make it... Whether or not something might mutate into that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because the way Bachalo draws, he'll never do a Benedict Cumberbatch. So what else is the big news, Rob, coming up in the preview?
It's got to be Star Wars, Force Awakens, Shattered Empire.
Which is what, though?
Which is a lot, I think. It's going to be canon in Star Wars. It's coming out in September. It's canon. It's written by Greg Rucka. It is set after the end of Return of the Jedi, so I think they're going to be doing a direct link to the film, by the looks of it, because they've basically said that anything Star Wars now, comic-wise, is canon.
Is this a segue between Jedi and Force Awakens?
By how they're promoting it, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
do you know the other Star Wars books that are out at the moment?
Yes.
Like, where do they exist? So, like the Vader book.
They exist between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
Right, so the Vader book exists in that point.
Yes.
So does Princess Leia. All of that is between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's not a lot to go on this, but the fact that... I mean, Greg Rucka has done a lot of stuff over the years, and he's never done a bad comic, but the fact that they're doing this 2-issue leading up to the release of the main film...
Oh, is that all it's going to be?
Yeah, just 2 issues. The fact that they're doing that, and they're leading up to the film...
So it's cash in, yeah?
But that's exact. Now I know it's 2 issues, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, of course it's a cash in.
Do you know what's funny, though, right, is that we go, cash in, and that's exactly what it is, and I don't think anyone that's got 2 cents upstairs knows that's what it is, but I bet you this sells by the bucket load.
Oh yeah, I will buy it. Definitely.
I don't think I will.
You'll read it then.
I might read yours at a push, but I won't be rushing out to read it.
No, that's fair enough. I think that with the Star Wars at the moment, they're obviously, like I said to you, they're set off the New Hope, and it's all canon. But for this, it's the first time they've ever set anything after immediate Return of the Jedi. So it's going to be interesting.
I was going to say, even though I'm not a massive Star Wars geek, I find that quite an intriguing prospect, because it's going to be quite interesting to see where the new film goes with it. How far after is it?
Shattered Empire is.
Yeah.
Makes sense. On the back of Return of the Jedi. So, yeah, I mean, I
to
can't
me,
wait till December, Star Wars.
To me, that smacks of the issues they do just before a film, like the Marvel do. It's a bit like,
type thing,
if you can be asked, you pick it up, but no one that collects comics picks them up.
Right, okay.
That's my thing with it.
I personally think more people will pick that up.
No, I think they will, because I think that it's more prolific and there's more of a history there with the Star Wars, but it's still very much... I don't want to sound jaded, but I am, so that's the way it's going to come out. It just sounds to me like, let's have a go with that. Let's see what we can get out of this.
Yeah.
Of course, but
who's doing the art for
it? It is Marco Cicchetto.
Has he done anything else?
It's the same guy who works on the Punisher series with Greg Rucka.
Oh, okay.
And he also draws the Avengers World comic.
So quite realistic then?
Yeah, well, a bit of...
Detailed?
Yeah, detailed, but still comic, I'd say. Sort of thing. I mean, the Punisher run's been brilliant. Greg Rucka's done an amazing run on that. but I definitely one to watch out for. I mean, it's Star Wars.
Do you think you'll sell it in spades in the shop?
Yes.
That's it right there, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, Star Wars sells itself. Whether it's, you know, chocolate on a
Well, all
stick.
the series that are going now, they got
Yeah,
that,
definitely. I mean, the only one people would be disappointed on is the Leia one.
Who's doing that? Is that Aaron?
Mark Waid.
Oh, okay.
It's a big name.
So a lot of the customers have been the case of, it's like they haven't really tried. It's like 5 issues. Let's just get it done, and who cares? Because obviously after this one, Lando 5 issues.
Sorry,
Lando 5 issues going to be starting after this. So, and I think it's Lando.
And is he going to be tied into this Star Wars book, the Force
which
Awakens
Lando?
one, or is
I don't know, 'cause
Is
this
he
is still set after
Right.
New Hope? So it's going to be that sort of leading up to the Cloud City, the betrayal. You know, we're going to see all that sort of thing. 'Cause that's again is a 5-issue run.
So what's next?
What's next? I believe it's Tokyo Ghost.
Oh my god! I could not be more excited about this.
It looks beautiful.
So, who's it going to be by?
Rick Remender and who?
Who?
Sean Murphy.
Oh yeah! And this is Image.
Yep, Image again.
So I don't even know what this is about.
I was going to say, I'm completely oblivious due to my one-eyedness, so please do tell, explain to me.
The great thing about the Image stuff, especially like the number ones, is it's a universe unto itself, so you don't
Okay.
need to know anything that's happened before.
Cool.
Remender is already like awesome writer for the Marvel U, very much like Jason Aaron. Everything he does in the Marvel U has been amazing. He did a great run with Uncanny X-Force leading to Uncanny Avengers. That's kind of rebooted again now, Rob, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But the stuff he's doing for Image so far has been brilliant. Like the fresh stories that he's got, as good as he is, the pull for me is Sean Murphy, because anything that guy draws I would buy, like Chris Bachalo.
Okay.
And the first couple of teasers that they did for this was kind of like Sean Murphy doing Akira-esque type stuff. Bob, do we even know what this is about? Because I'll be honest, it doesn't matter to me. I'll buy it anyway.
No, I know, it looks beautiful. You know, a brief background is set in 2089. Humanity,
Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, humanity is addicted to technology. Get a digital fix is the only thing worth living for. And then they basically switch it to the whole digital fix is controlled by gangsters. So what I can see from it, they use the police to enforce that drug addiction. So the only place left on Earth is Garden Nation, which is Tokyo.
Yeah.
And they're sent there to reinforce that drug addiction. But that story alone, don't get me wrong, I think we've got 4 pages, I think, of previews.
I think so, yeah.
Of the artwork. And it's a place I would want to live. It's not a utopia, because people are addicted to these drugs.
I wish
I would wish I would live there.
I wish the Murphy drew my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing, you know? Any sci-fi future film, he draws it, and it's just like, yeah, I want to live there.
I think like what you've described is good enough, but not knowing that, I still would have bought it because he's drawing it.
Yeah, it's just...
And the fact that Remender's got hold of him, I mean, when Mark Miller got hold of him for Chrononauts, I was like, you're only going to do a couple of issues, you're pretty much like, all your
4
comics
issues,
now are a pitch for a movie anyway, so, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm never not going to buy it. But this Remender is that little bit more deeper. He's got usually got something to say in his books.
Yeah, I really hope it works this time.
Yeah,
with Sean Murphy, definitely. Because Wake, I enjoyed it to a point, and sort of because Danny read it.
Shit,
didn't you?
Yeah, absolute shit.
And then you got to a point where you just thought, what?
I would buy that book if it had no speech bubbles in it.
Yeah,
but I won't now.
Yeah, it's just a shame, isn't it?
It's not. It's just bad writing. It's the idea is all that comic book was about. It wasn't about how it told the story.
But I'm hoping, like you said, Rick Remender,
he's got something to say and he knows how to do it. I've never read something by him and gone, you dropped the ball there, Rick.
Look at his Uncanny X-Force. Look at his Uncanny Avengers run. Just superb.
He's all about long arcs.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely a look out for comic.
What we got next? Batman number 44.
Oh, yes.
So what's this then, Cheek? Why have you brought this one up?
I've only brought it up briefly because Scott Snyder obviously writing it, as he does. But a little person called Jock is going to be drawing the issue, and they're going to be introducing a new villain called Mr. Bloom.
Is Jock only going to be doing one issue, or is he doing
By the looks of it, yeah. Okay. He's going to be just doing the issue. I think the same month there's an annual going on. I know Sean Murphy actually is doing the cover for it. Can't remember who's in it of the annual. But it's just interesting. I mean, Mr. Bloom, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, the covers don't give away much. You've got a Green Lantern month that month, so you've got
is a variant,
a typical Jock cover where it's Batman, sort of an action shot.
It looks very much like his design for his black and white statue.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
That's exactly upside down, yeah.
And then you've got the Green Lantern cover where it's him and Green Lantern battling some sort of energy sort of being, whether it be, but it's not obviously this Mr. Bloom. So, I mean, again, it could be anything, but Scott Snyder and Jock together, it can't be a bad thing.
Yes, so I was going to say, Mr. What is he? Bloom.
Mr. Bloom.
Seems quite super and mystical for a Snyder book, to be honest, because he's normally with his Batman, it's quite grounded, I'd say.
Yeah, for Batman it is.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that kind of attack, like especially if you read The Wake and stuff, and obviously he's been doing American Vampire for a while, just witches with Jock. He doesn't mind dipping his toe in supernatural stuff, and I think in the Batman run, I don't know how far into it you are, but he touches upon supernatural stuff and then always kind of rewinds and explains.
Yeah.
So who knows what that'll be? I mean, I think you're brave to introduce a villain to Batman canon.
So I think that's going to be at the moment is the truth thing going on. So there's obviously the Mecha Batman going on. Spoiler alert.
I've read it.
Yeah.
But I think we're leading up to the end of that, and I think 44 there's this issue which is going to introduce Batman's going to, well, by the looks of it, by the cover, Batman's going to be back into it.
I don't know. I think the only thing that disappoints me about this is actually the selling point is that it's Jock. It's not what's happening.
Oh yeah, Jock, a new villain. That's the selling point. Which is good
but
enough
I think
for most
the new
people.
villain is secondary.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, having Jock doing the interiors.
Okay.
Why not?
Would you say that Snyder's probably got a good track record of introducing new villains, though, isn't he? You know, Court of Owls was his, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's still
obviously that's a big sort of that's an easy thing to say.
It grated a lot of people's gears. That
really,
they were like, this isn't canon. Yeah, for us, we were fine. It's like, right, this is my Batman now.
New stuff,
so.
yeah.
But a lot of people are like, we've never heard of these before, so they're hard to accept. I think now, though, dust has settled. I think people are more accepting of it. Bloom, depending on what he does, people love it or hate it, and then eventually accept it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But as previews goes, have we got anything else that's not comic books?
Just one more thing.
Go on.
Fans out there want to buy something. There's a lot to buy. But one thing I will say, there's a lot of badges and police badges coming out. Right? One, I know Dan knows one, which is
Central City Police.
Central City Police badge. There's also a...
So actually, it's not just a badge though, is it?
It's
set on the leather with the neck chain.
Oh, it's everything. You could get into any crime scene or club with it.
I love how you
guaranteed.
Like and or club.
You thought about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about club. You know, because it's expensive these days, isn't it? But then they've got the Flash, they've got the Gotham GCPD one, and they've got the Arrow,
Starline City
one, Starline, Star City, we'll call it. I don't know what they did there.
It should be Star City. I think it's a licensing thing that they've done that. Yeah. Which is odd because it's like you're allowed to use Green Arrow, but you can't use Star City, which is odd.
Yeah.
Very weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But check them out. They are just
I'm
they're
getting
amazing.
Central City Police one. It looks
they're
amazing.
Metal badge on leather pouch. You can put it on your waist, put it on your top pocket, put it around your
belt.
neck.
Dreaming about this, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot wait.
Mate, I'm going to be rocking.
I'm going to be showing my wife and going, "This is it."
Yeah.
This
by
is
order of the
stuff.
court.
Yeah.
Get down on it.
Yeah. You know, double knees. It needs to be done.
So for the next section, Iron Heights. We're going to talk about the news and controversy for geek and comic book world. First up, I think a really important mention. So, sadly, James Horner has passed away. Composer extraordinaire for a lot of classics like Aliens. I think he will be sorely missed. He's probably not done as much lately, but I'm guessing that's because obviously he's been unwell. But I think he will be sorely missed.
Yeah, the last thing was Amazing Spider-Man.
He did the first one, didn't he?
Hans Zimmer did that.
He did the second one, Hans Zimmer.
Ah, right.
So you got Titanic, Beautiful Mind,
Aliens,
Braveheart, Apollo 13. Yeah, classic things. So,
amazing.
So yeah, definitely a shame. Shout out. Unfortunately, plane crash.
Oh,
Sad times.
poor bugger.
But as the circle of life goes, isn't it actually as well someone's birthday today?
It is someone's birthday today.
Whose is it?
Tom's.
It's not.
It's not
I'm a
Tom.
January child.
I've tried.
It's good, but it's not right.
Now, Joss Whedon's birthday.
And how old is he today?
51 today.
The Whedon.
When this goes out, he'll be 51 in 2 days. Fingers crossed. But 51.
The big old 5-1.
Fair play.
He's had a good output, haven't he?
He has, yes. Is it true that he's pretty much just that's it for Marvel for him now?
I think he's been burned a little bit. To be fair, like, people will slate Age of Ultron as much as they like, but to pull it off, to be given, like, in the first one, they were like, right, just
do what you would
all
do.
you've got to do is tie together, but you've got free reign. In the second one, they were like, don't forget, you've got to tie together Black Panther, Captain America, Infinity War, whatever else is coming next.
And you got to sell all the toys.
Spider-Man.
Got to sell all the toys.
And it smacked of that a bit, but you know what? I still thought it was fucking great. He's amazing.
I mean, there's a director's cut coming out,
which is like 4 hours long, isn't it?
I was going to say it was a weird one because that cut could have been like an hour or two longer, but also at the same time it could have been so much shorter. It was really, really weird.
But you know when, I don't know, did you watch Return of the King when it first came out of the cinema?
Yeah, I saw that in the cinema actually.
So I watched that and I was like, right, that felt really long.
Yeah.
But then you watch the direct or the extended edition and you're like, right, it is longer, but it doesn't feel longer because all the bits that cut out make all the cuts make more sense, and I think that's what will happen. There were some scenes in Age of Ultron where you were like, I wanted to spend a bit more time there, and I think that's what you'll get to do. But getting back to comic book news, Spider-Man and the 616, Rob.
Yes, hot topic with a lot of fans. Bendis and
Sarah Pacelli.
Pacelli. We're going Pacelli. Released the news that Spider-Man was coming out, so it's going to be following Miles Morales, and it's going to be the first chapter is going to be a sequel to Spider-Man, where Peter Parker from our universe crosses over, gives closure to a lot of like Aunt May, Mary Jane.
So I think what's great about this, so I don't really care, I don't collect Spider-Man books as much as I want to like him. Whenever I picked up a Spider-Man book, I'm always a bit like, meh. I like him in stuff I already read.
Yeah.
But what's great is if the run of Guardians, the Bendis did, the Sarah Pacelli did the art for, was probably the best run. Now, it's just as much to do with what was going on as it is the art, and the way that she draws expressions and the looks on people's faces, like you were saying earlier, Tom, about your favourite artist.
Yeah, Amanda
Connor, like, is brilliant. The only thing that makes me go, maybe not, is obviously Miles Morales is always going to have the mask on.
Yeah.
But be honest, Bendis, it's his character.
Yeah.
It's just
who knows what's
just
going to happen after
transplanted.
Secret Wars. A lot of people online are saying, well, what's happening with Peter Parker? Is he going to, because they're doing obviously the marriage at the moment, again with, Mary Jane and all that. Is he going to continue being married, and is he going to be a mentor to Miles Morales, and all these sorts of things? They've interviewed Stanley. Who cares at the end of the day? As long as it's a new Avenger for us, and it's a new, guess what's going to happen, then why not?
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
Bendis knows what he's doing with Spider-Man. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't jumped. Dan Slott's been doing an amazing job, but I'm surprised he hasn't jumped on a mainstream Spider-Man ever.
But I think it's that thing where, like, Dan Slott's on it, it sells by the gazillion.
Yeah,
if it ain't
definitely.
broke, don't break it.
Yeah, and I think this will. I mean, no matter what, a new Spider-Man title, Bendis, Miles Morales, it's going to sell. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, who knows? I mean, this is what they've just hinted with this and what we talked about earlier about Doctor Strange. It's one of those things where they're just like, right, this is what's going on.
Okay, so speaking of Spider-Man, hot news off the press.
Like, literally
hot,
the
like
press.
hours old. Like
Scorching
hours old.
hot.
Like, this is baby still crying in the hospital news, okay?
Cut the cord.
The Disney / Marvel / Sony, whoever else is involved,
whoever else.
have announced that actor Tom Holland has been cast as the next live-action Spider-Man.
So what has he done?
Okay, he's best known for playing the lead role in Billy Elliot the Musical in London.
Okay.
So they're copying DC there, obviously, because DC cast, Ray Fisher as Cyborg in their film, and he was his Muhammad Ali. So Marvel, yet again, copying DC. And yeah, so he's a stage actor that he's 19. I personally thought that they were going down the route of even younger than that again. Like, he looks a bit young, to be honest.
Well, the Ender's Game guy was a favourite, wasn't he? And then, who was the other kid? English kid. Another one.
They like the Brits, don't they? You know, Andrew Garfield, last one.
Andrew Garfield I loved. I wish they
very
kept
good,
him.
had the whip.
And he would fit into
Why
the
not
current
adapt it? Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So obviously, so Tom Holland has been cast, but an interesting thing that also dropped, I believe, late last week was obviously Sony have been getting into trouble a lot regarding all these leaked emails and all the hacks that they had a fair few months ago. But the actual details of the deal between Sony and Marvel, or more how Spider-Man should be depicted, shall we say? So to be honest with you, looking at the list, it's kind of like obvious stuff, really. So we got his full name should be Peter Benjamin Parker. I guess that's kind of like good. Normal,
Of that, we're all agreed.
Yeah, he is Caucasian and heterosexual. You know, obviously his parents become absent from his life during his childhood. He gains his powers whilst attending either middle school or college. He gains his powers from being bitten by a spider. Again, what the hell? His designs, he designs his first red and blue costume. Seems standard.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of little other stipulations that he's from New York and stuff. It seems really silly that they had to sort of stipulate that this had to be done and that had to be
straight,
done.
and his name's Peter.
Like, you know, obviously I'd love to sort of, we could spend all night with this, but for me personally, I would love to take the conversation onwards onto a topic and a game that I've been very, very hyped about, but unfortunately I do not have the console to play, and that is Batman Arkham Knight. Daniel, tell us about your experience thus far.
Let me tell you. So I ordered this game in March, right? Because if you pre-ordered it, you got the Harley Quinn pack.
That's it.
That had like the extra single-player missions in. If you ordered it from Amazon, you also got a skin pack and for the Batmobile. So it's basically like a prototype skin pack.
Is that?
So it's like Wayne Tech skin for the Batmobile prototype. With the PS4, you also got Scarecrow missions.
There's some weird stuff actually with those Scarecrow missions.
That was the best
first
thing.
person stuff as well.
It was the best thing about the first game. Best thing about the first game was the Scarecrow stuff.
Yeah.
Did you play the first game?
Oh, it scared me shit.
So you get, remember that moment though where you get halfway through and you think your console's bust?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? And it replicates a game crashing perfectly.
Yeah.
And just before you go to press the reset on your console, the game starts again, except it's the Joker driving Batman to Arkham Asylum. The fact that these people are doing this game, you're like, right, I
need to play this again.
Yeah.
So that's a PS sort of exclusive, is it? The Scarecrow.
The PS4, is like where you get more. So Scarecrow is the antagonist for this one, but you get extra Scarecrow missions for PS4.
Yeah, I think it's more you get them included, whereas
so do we know
the
what
Xbox
one?
Well, I think the Xbox 360 you can still get them, but they're sort of purchasable. They're not.
They're as per the season pass.
Yeah, they're the season pass sort of. It's just I think Sony and Rocksteady have something going on where you always find it.
When it's money.
Yeah, well, there's something going on there where you always get PlayStation exclusive content.
I've seen a couple of the downloadable costumes, like Batman 66 looks pretty awesome.
There's two Batman as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
Thomas Wayne,
Batman,
Justice League 3000 is the other one.
Yeah, I love that costume actually. It's really
But
cool.
mind you, that in the last game you got
Jean-Claude Valley, that one.
That's right.
I thought the Nightfall, that was a wicked costume.
and
Wicked.
the Russian Superman,
Yep.
the Batman
Red Sun.
Red Sun costume you got. I think they'll have more and more, but I think so. Let me tell you about my experience. Right, pre-ordered it, got posted through the letterbox today. So I come in, as per PlayStation, same with Xbox One. You put a 50 gig Blu-ray disc into your console, and it pretty much installs the whole fucking thing. The disc is just to prove to your console that you've bought it, right? When you play it. So installing all that shit, I'm typing in all my codes. So I had 4 codes to type in. One for the Wayne Tech prototype, one for all my Scarecrow missions. I've got the skin packs for Batman and Harley Quinn.
Nice.
On top of that, I got a fucking 5 gig update. Bearing in mind the disc itself is nearly 50.
brand new as well.
Yeah, brand new out of the fucking box. I was like, when it turned up, I put it in and I was like, maybe I'll get 45 minutes in before you fuckers turn up. It says like, by the time I typed in all the codes, I wasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I've got another fucking install to get rid of all the bugs that's on the disc, and I'm like,
Surely you could have
who
done that.
fucking wants this? Imagine if you've got no internet, you're just going to be playing a fucking buggy game.
Well, I would have struggled, to be honest, because
It would have been fucking 6 weeks.
I would have been 6 weeks downloading
Like,
just
I
one of the
still
packs,
want to
be
really
honest.
play this game,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to lie to you, the edge has been taken off it a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, of course it is. You get a game now, and it's just like, well, I can't play it straight away. Tomorrow I will.
And I don't want to play without my codes in case it adds something to it, but really I know that I'm only going to get access to all the extra stuff once I've completed it and I get to change the skins.
So maybe next podcast we'll discuss
Be a
about
review of some sort, maybe.
Maybe
Yeah,
in my
maybe.
hot picks.
I know
Yes.
Dan's actually, I think it has completed the download.
Yeah, so let's get this fucking done. You go home,
Yeah,
and I'm going to
and
get busy with
download.
Batman.
So I think that's time for us to sign off.
Why not?
Yeah. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you enjoy the show. If you want to catch us, we are on Twitter and we're on @Forgotmycape. And if you want to check us on the website, it's forgotmycape.co.uk.
What about if I want to get you on Instagram?
Instagram is also Forgotmycape. Dan, if you want to catch Cape Killer,
Then you can get me on Instagram at Cape Killer T-shirts. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's at Cape_Killer. And you can buy superb T-shirts at www.capekiller.com. So Thomas?
If you want to catch me, I'm on Twitter at TVH11. I also have a SoundCloud where I write catchy little 3-minute pop songs that make One Direction sound like a respectable pop unit. And that is www.soundcloud.com/TVH11.
thank you guys, and I'll leave you with this little number.